Hi guys, I'm sorry I don't post as often as I would like to, but here we go. Okay, so today we're talking about edges. Edges is created by shading and not by lines. Lines are not edges. Edges is the difference between one value and the value next to it. Now there's a few different types of edges. The first one we're going to talk about is called hard edges. Hard edges is when there's a sudden difference between one value and the value next to it. And this is pretty much what it should look like in your drawing. Right? Then we get soft edges. I keep making that mistake. Soft edges. Soft edges are areas where there's either a gradual change from one value to the next one, or there's a very small difference between one value and the one next to it. And this is what it should look like in your drawing. Now we get to the lost edges. Lost edges are areas where you know there should be an edge, but the change in value, or the difference in value, is either very, very small, or you can't see the edge where you know there should be one. For instance, if you look at the second arrow from the top, the middle one, you know between the fingers you should be able to see the edge of the cup, but you can't because it's hidden in shadow. You don't draw that edge. If you don't see it, don't draw it. This is pretty much what it should look like in your drawing. Okay, this is the reference we're going to use, or I'm going to use, to demonstrate edges to you and how to shade them. There's quite a few hard edges, more than the 4 arrows I have here. You can try to find the rest of the hard edges. There's also a few lost edges, and again more than the 3 arrows I've got here. Try to find the other soft edges. I mean soft edges. I don't know why I keep doing this. I could find 1 or 2 lost edges. If you can find more, go for it. Okay, it's easier to see all of these edges when your reference picture is in grayscale. Not black and white. That's too high contrast, and a lot of the whole range of values gets lost in black and white. So grayscale works better. Alright, let me start. Alright, so the first thing you do is draw the most important lines of the draping. Now the most important lines to be drawn is mostly the hard edges that you can see. Keep your lines light so that they disappear in the shading, right? I'm doing my lines a little bit darker so that you can see them. Now I'm going to start shading, and I'm going to start with mid-tones. Now for you, those of you who do not know what mid-tones are, those are, so you have a value scale, right? And you have your darkest color, your darkest shade, and white as your lightest shade. Let's do a quick value scale, a very simple quick value scale, just for those of you who do not know. Okay, so this is your, let's number them. Number 1 is going to represent your lightest highlights, right? I'm using a 2B pencil for this, and I'm going to use the layering method to do this value scale. Right, so there's layer 1. So block 2 is supposed to be only a little bit darker than block 1, right? Now we go for the next layer. Block 3. So now block 3 is a little bit darker than block 2. And so we keep going. Okay, it's not quite dark enough compared to 3, so let's make it a tiny little bit darker. There you go. Right, now block 5 and 6. And now block 6. Okay, so this is your lightest highlights, 1 and 2. 5 and 6 will represent your darker shadows. So 3 and 4 will be your mid-tones. I'm going to start with the mid-tones. So if you look back at the reference picture, you will see that right there is a hard edge. Where it's dark on this side, so I'm going to lay down a dark tone over here, not too dark but dark enough. It creates a sharp edge here, hard edge here as well, and then the darkness continues down. Now right next to this, okay, so down here, this fold continues, but very lightly, and only for a little bit, right up to there. Next to it, there's a highlight, and next to the highlight, there's a very soft tone. Not the whole thing, only for a little bit. So this is how you build it like a puzzle, right? So soft tone, then the highlight kind of disappears round about there. Oh, another thing is you want your lines to disappear in the shading. Alright. Disappears round about there. Now from here on, like this, and it goes, connects with this fold here. There's a pretty crisp shadow. That, remember, shadows and highlights have shapes. That goes something like this. So there's a pretty dark shadow. I'm gonna do this dark. I am right there. We're gonna rework all of this later, right? And then there's a little bit of a subtle shadow right on the edge of this fold here. That continues a little bit down here. Right, there's quite a few mid-tone and light shadows in this area here. That one forms almost like always look for shapes. Here's a big highlight, and then there's a shadow just off to the right of the fold here. I'm laying down the midtones first because no shadow is only dark and light. So where we had a sharp, I can actually harden this edge, sharpen this edge because it's a really sharp edge right there. Then it tapers off a little bit and becomes a bit of a softer edge there. But here it's sharp, and right there, the edge is really sharp, up to about here. So I can sharpen those edges. And right there, it's still sharp. The area we're working on now here is a soft edge. So there is darker and lighter areas and there are highlights, but there's no sharp, sudden change between values. If I remember correctly, one of the last edges is somewhere around in this area. Let me try to find it again. I sometimes have trouble finding it. Yeah, it's this one here. Okay, so let's work on the last edge first. So we know that this fold is actually part of that fold, but we can't really see where they connect. That's where the last edge is. So the last edge becomes part of this midtone area right here. There, okay, so we already have a hard edge, a soft edge, and a last edge here in the middle. I'm going to keep working. I've talked while I demonstrated how we do the edges, so I'm just gonna keep working now. Okay guys, that's it for today, for this video. I can work on this a little bit more to do a few finishing touches to make it a more complete finished drawing. But I think we've run out of time for now. Anyway, you guys have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.